A home is many things: a place to gather, share meals, work, and have fun. A sacred space where family members grow in wisdom, age, and grace. A home at its best offers safety, security, and comfort at each stage of life. Home for the Sisters Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in Monroe, Michigan, is their mother house and the land it sits on. The Sisters' home was built in 1932 when most of them were young sisters. Technology was less advanced and natural resources were more abundant. By the end of the 20th century, their home's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems had deteriorated and couldn't support today's technology or sophisticated healthcare equipment some of the sisters required. The state of their home forced them to make a decision, whether to rebuild or renovate their mother house. That decision invited them to rethink how they live. The sisters chose to renovate rather than rebuild because they wanted to be a restorative presence on earth instead of a destructive one. They chose to recycle rather than rebuild because they have committed their lives and resources to respond to the needs of the world. In today's world, people are often alienated from one another and from the earth. There is unequal access to the resources of the planet, oppression of persons and cultures for the material benefit of a few, consumerism promoted as the preferred way of life, and devastating pollution to our land, air, and water. There is a longing for spiritual expression and a balanced way of life. Through research, study, reflection, and prayer, the sisters came to a renewed vision for bringing about the dream of God on earth. They were inspired to renovate their home and land and lives in ways that express their commitment to sustainable living. They believe sustainability is the only moral choice for the future. The IHM's commitment to live sustainably is a natural outgrowth of their commitment to work toward a world of peace built on justice. The root of this work involves relationships with ourself, with others, with all of creation. The IHM sisters commit themselves to be in right relationship with each of these. Living sustainably means something as basic as recycling materials and choosing products made in people and earth-friendly ways, and as profound as re-examining our traditional understanding that humans are the center and purpose of creation. Living sustainably calls us to practice humility and to treat nature as a model and a mentor. It requires us to see the connection between our use of material resources and the extreme poverty of 2/3 of our world's people. It requires us to be open to being transformed again and again as we respond to God's continuing call to us. Each sister and IHM associate grappled with foundational questions. In what ways will the choices we make contribute to a transformation of consciousness? Contribute to working in a partnership way with persons, systems, and structures beyond our own community? Address how those who will be affected will be included in the planning and decision-making. Address who benefits and who loses from any decision and what the trade-offs are. Which core values of the community will govern our choices? How do we balance financial gains against the value of sustainability and continuation of our mission? What legacy do we want to pass on to future generations? How can we be good stewards of the earth and of the religious tradition which has been entrusted to us? How can we work together to meet the responsibilities that our choices will require? They engaged in conversations with one another for years and years and years, and one day they arrived at a point of agreement. They would risk transforming for the sake of their commitment to sustainable living. They would learn to let go of their old way of life. They would risk spending a huge slice out of the pie of their financial resources for the sake of their vision. Their vision is to bring about the dream of God on the earth through respect for, nurturing of, and promoting the liberation and well-being of all persons and all of nature as God's good creation. The IHM sisters see their home as a living laboratory of sustainable living. They want to educate others with the best knowledge and experience in the fields of spirituality, theology, ecology, social justice, public policy, advocacy, organic farming, sustainable methods of energy conservation and land use, and holistic health care for the aging and intergenerational living. The IHM see human beings growing into a new understanding of who we are as humans in relation to each other and to the natural world. They say all of life pulses with divine energy. In the fragile, interconnected web that is life, the light of God radiates through every aspect. Humans, rocks, trees, animals, waters, stars share this divine presence. We share lineage. God is our creator, and we, as each member of the web that is life, bear God's light, God's life. We are kin. Kinship, then, is about relationships, and relationships invite responsibility. Individual lives, as diverse as they are rooted in a common heritage, God's compassionate presence. Each member of the community of life gives expression to this life. The invitation, then, is to live this life in a spirit of cooperation and nonviolence, to live and relate in such a way that supports the unique expression of God's life present in each manifestation of creation. Having a sense of place is critical for people to experience belonging and communion. The better we know our own locality, our watershed or bioregion, the deeper our relationship will be to that place and to all the life it sustains. When connectedness to place guides us, our actions and decisions witness to the interconnectedness of all of creation. The IHM community, which flowed from the vision of their founders, originated in the River Raisin watershed and the Great Lakes bioregion. Their deepening appreciation for this place and their awareness of the plight of Earth has led them to preserve and restore it not only for their life, but also for the life of the planet. Consider this. Buildings produce 136 million tons of construction and demolition waste in the United States. This is approximately 2.8 pounds of waste per person per day. Now consider this. There is no waste in nature. We have a long way to go to eliminate waste altogether, but we are taking steps toward that goal. Some of those steps include the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. The Mother House renovation reduced the impact on the environment by not building new, and its footprint on the earth by using sustainable products. The Mother House renovation reused 800 wood windows, 500 cherry wood doors, wood trim, wood wainscoting, parquet wood floors, salvaged marble pieces for windowsills and countertops, over 100 period light fixtures that were retrofitted to be energy efficient. The Mother House renovation recycled 45,260 square feet of carpet reclamation, sinks and toilets, wiring, ductwork, cabinets, fire extinguishers, radiators, plaster, asphalt, topsoil, over 30% of construction debris, and 50% of all construction materials. Sustainable design is also called green design. The Mother House renovation is a large-scale example of green design. It is registered with the United States Green Building Council, an organization composed of the nation's foremost leaders from across the building industry. The building industry defines green design as renovation and construction practices that significantly reduce or eliminate the negative impact of buildings on the environment and on occupants. This covers 5 broad areas: sustainable site planning, safeguarding water and water efficiency, energy efficiency and renewable energy, conservation of materials and resources, and indoor environmental quality. The Mother House incorporates green design in each of these 5 categories. The sisters reduce the impact on the environment by choosing to renovate an existing building instead of building a new structure. And they are restoring the site with native species and preserving green space in an urban area. The sisters dramatically reduce the consumption of fresh water and efficiently manage stormwater through the utilization of water conservation and water management methods and technologies. Installing a gray water system is one example of water conservation. In spite of adding 305 new bathrooms to the Mother House by using low-flow fixtures and fittings, high-velocity toilets, and a gray water flushing system, we will reduce overall freshwater consumption by over 50%. In addition, the use of vegetated swales and wet meadows enables us to divert almost 1 million gallons of water a year from the municipal storm sewer system. A separate piping system collects used waters from sinks and showers in the mother house. This is called gray water. The pipes route the gray water to a constructed wetland on the campus. The constructed wetlands, mimicking nature's purification system, cleanse the gray water, and we recycle it back to the mother house for flushing toilets. A building's consumption of energy and raw materials constitutes the biggest environmental impact on the Earth. The U.S. Green Building Council reports that commercial and residential buildings in the United States account for 65.2% of U.S. electricity consumption, 36% of total U.S. primary energy use, 30% of total U.S. greenhouse gas emissions, 12% of potable water in the U.S., 40% of global raw materials use. That's 3 billion tons annually. One of the sisters' most important goals was to reduce the environmental impact of the IHM Mother House. The decision to reduce their dependence on non-renewable energy sources resulted in a geothermal system for heating and cooling the 376,000 square feet of the Mother House. Geothermal energy uses the Earth's temperature for heating and cooling. The 240-hole closed-loop system provides efficient, renewable, and lower-cost heating and cooling to the mother house. This system takes advantage of the Earth's steady 55-degree underground temperature. Water that is constantly circulated through the 54 miles of pipe is warmed or cooled by the Earth. In essence, the Earth is being utilized as a large radiator. To reduce the demand for electricity, the sisters implemented maximum use of daylight, high-performance lighting, natural light control, programmed lighting, and a geothermal system. The sisters incorporated a number of strategies to ensure an energy-efficient approach to heat. Heat recovery units are located throughout the building. They selected glazing to balance the need for light transmission with desired insulating and shading performance. And they optimized heating, cooling, and ventilation, or HVAC, system efficiency by avoiding the oversizing of plant equipment. The integration of energy technologies allowed them to achieve synergies not possible in a piecemeal approach. The sisters recycled and reused materials already present in the building. They used products that reduce their footprint and impact on the environment. Footprints are a measure of the proportion of Earth's resources we use and require to meet our needs. The smaller our footprint, the better. The use of sustainable or green products and materials was one of the standards the IHMs required the architect to specify for the mother house. Green materials are materials that do not deplete Earth's natural resources, such as bamboo or cork, that are rapidly replenished. Green products are made from green materials in an energy-efficient process that does not negatively impact the environment. Even in the greenest of projects, many products may not be green themselves, but how they are used can reduce the overall environmental impact on the building. For example, a particular window may not be a green product, but the way it is used maximizes the collection of low winter sunlight and blocks the summer sun. The sisters used products salvaged from the mother house itself. Some examples of salvaged items include bricks, millwork, light fixtures, marble slabs, doors, and windows. Recycled content is an important feature of many green products. Post-consumer is preferable to post-industrial recycled content because post-consumer recycled materials are more likely to be diverted from landfills. The drywall material used in this project is 5/8-inch thick gypsum board that is moisture resistant. Gypsum is an abundant, benign material with recycled paper content. Another example of a recycled product is Trex, which consists of recycled wood and plastic that gives the appearance of a wood deck. Trex comes with a lifetime guarantee. The sisters installed Trex on the floor of the outside veranda. The mineral wool insulation in the mother house was made from iron ore slag and is an example of a post-industrial recycled material. New wood was obtained from judiciously managed forests. All of these products are biodegradable, often low in volatile organic compound or VOC emissions, and generally produced from agricultural crops. Because sunlight is generally the primary energy input via photosynthesis, These products may be less energy intensive to produce. The mother house floor coverings include linoleum and cork, both examples of rapidly renewing materials. On average, Americans spend 80 to 90% of their time indoors. Indoor environmental quality has an impact on health, productivity, and quality of life. The mother house renovation includes many strategies to provide an optimal indoor environment, ventilation effectiveness and control of contaminants, protection of air handling system during construction, use of low-emitting materials like low-voc paint, daylighting and views, fresh air introduced into the building, occupant control of the building systems. Every year, Southeast Michigan loses about 13 square miles of land to development. That loss includes farms, fields, wetlands, and woods. One of our priorities is the preservation and enhancement of green space. The IHM land is home to native trees over 100 years old and an endangered oak savanna ecosystem. These provide historic and ecological value to the community and root them in place by keeping them connected to the web of life. The conversion of 5 acres of lawn to meadow and prairie improves the biodiversity of the site and protects existing natural habitat. In addition, the reduction in labor and equipment costs associated with mowing lawns results in lower consumption of non-renewable energy. Constructed wetlands, imitating natural wetlands, purify water coming from the mother house as it flows through to a piping system that returns the cleansed water back into the building. By a conservative estimate, in the last quarter of the 20th century, 20% of all living species have become extinct. When these living beings, magnificent plants and animals, go extinct, they never come back. Extinction is a direct indication of ecosystem health. This bears directly on our own survival because we are connected to this web of life on the planet. The sisters' intention is to move gently and cause less harm. They are diversifying life forms present on their grounds by restoring native plantings and habitat. We often turn to nature for healing and renewal. The Mother House grounds offers a rich contemplative landscape of meadows, courtyards, a pond, woodlands, walking paths, gardens, a cemetery, and green park space for quiet moments. The sisters chose a design of the indoor and outdoor space that promotes sustainable community. Their goal is that the overall sense of community, linking humanity and nature, will be enhanced. Connection to nature, to the outside, is an integral part of the sisters' design. The design integrates an experience of the sacred in the natural setting as well as in the chapel. Inside the mother house, each resident room has at least 2 windows. The second floor veranda and the community room open into 2 courtyards, all handicap accessible. Outdoors, they've created new amenities such as pedestrian pathways and other contemplative landscapes that link spirituality and nature. The renovated mother house has improved the quality of life for the sisters who live there. The entire building is now accessible. In addition to maximizing daylight and views in residents' rooms, residents also have private baths with showers. Each wing or neighborhood includes common spaces that are more like living rooms and less like dormitory lounges. The neighborhood includes a kitchen, laundry, and assisted bathing. Landscaped courtyards and a veranda provide protected outdoor space for many of the residents who otherwise would have very limited access to the outdoors. The ground floor provides access to all services as well as to the community room that leads to the courtyards. The extensive interior renovations minimally impact the exterior appearance and historical character of the mother house. The handicapped residents needed numerous adaptations to provide easy accessibility throughout the building. These modifications respected the fabric of the structures to the greatest extent possible. The sisters envision a time when their mother house will transcend their own needs and they will open their home to others. Converting several resident rooms to 1- and 2-bedroom apartments is a future option. This is a building design that accommodates many human purposes, allowing the materials to remain in place while serving different needs. The sisters have already seen the ripple effect of their own education. The IHM community required all construction trades to provide materials and do their work in the least wasteful manner. The Christman Company, the construction manager for the renovation, now mandates recycling as an integral component of every project they undertake. And other project partners, civil engineers, subcontractors, architects, and business owners have been changed by their experience with the sustainable renovation. Joe Connors of Monroe Plumbing and Heating is a lifelong Monroe neighbor to the IHM grounds. His company installed the infrastructure to manage the gray water and geothermal mother house systems. Mr. Connors testified eloquently to the sisters about the transformation he experienced on the project. Listen to his words.
As I look back at my life and the people that have affected me the most, it's generally been people that have strong beliefs and are willing to act on those beliefs. We all meet a lot of people that can talk the talk, but there are very few people that can walk the walk. And your financial commitment to the geothermal system and to avoiding the use of non-renewable resources, the great water system is so impressive that you've changed the way that I think about things. How I think about the environment, how I think about trying to reuse things. And really that's probably the biggest compliment I can give you is you've changed the way I think.
We have always been committed to social justice and advocacy for the abandoned and the poor, and that's what our call was. We felt that was our mission, and it was given to us by our founders. And so in this century, we have come to understand that the earth is abandoned in many ways, in the sense that people do not realize that it is a living organism and must be cared for. The ancient peoples knew that, and now we're reclaiming that as a society, and as a world, there are movements in that direction.
Being a sustainable renovation was going to require a commitment to problem solving and to looking at new ways of doing things that many of the trades, many of the firms had not done before. For example, installing a gray water system, installing geothermal for heating and cooling, even reusing the windows, which seemed like a rather straightforward kind of a decision. Do you reuse them or not? Ended up being months of analysis and study and research and so on with the engineers and with the lighting architect and with the architect and with the construction manager. Lots of people were involved in all these different problem-solving periods of time, and so it required even more working together than a conventional renovation.
When I heard those architects and engineers and contractors say that being part of this project here has changed their whole work ethic, that now they make a part of their policy the recycling of as much material as possible. I think that's where we're educators today.
What I think is my challenge and our challenge, not just mine, our challenge is we've been given a building that was built green as we could possibly make it with our choices. Now we have to move into that building and live green. So it's the living green that we have not begun to live out yet. So how to stick with that, how to work with the staff on campus and all the sisters on campus to make decisions that keep the green there. So it's going to be the living out that's going to be the challenge.